Hello, everyone.
Hello, this is Silverfire. I use they, them. I'll be your host this evening as tinahacks here goes into this La-Mulana 2 run.
Yeah, so this is, for anybody who's not super familiar with it, a really, really complex puzzle game. Just recently released, and the community just started tearing it apart right away. And the run has gotten just goofy broken already. It's real fun. I'm going to do my best to explain what I'm doing as I go along, but we're going to be solving a bunch of stuff out of order. We're going to be killing a bunch of bosses, mostly with a gun, because we're brave. And it's going to be a good time. This is potentially one of the more dangerous runs in this marathon. It could go the entire estimate. It could well end 30 to 45 minutes under estimate. We'll see what happens. So yeah, I think I am just about ready to get started. This should be real fun. And yeah, I hope everybody enjoys it. And I'm being told that I'm quiet, so I should fix that. Okay, hopefully this is a little bit better. We'll wait for chat to give me their opinion.
Tiny bit louder, please. I think I might also need to be turned up a tiny bit.
Okay. This is the fun. We get to do tech live. Everybody who's wondering what's going on behind the scenes, this is it. No change? That's unacceptable. Yep, mic tests are kind of par for the course for, stuff like this. Since I was running the restream for the last run, we ended up having to kind of go about things right at the last moment. There we go. Balance should be a little bit better now. Yeah, I've got my hardware device completely pegged, so at this point the only thing that I can do is drop down the game.
I think it's okay now.
Cool. Alright, well, in that case, let's go ahead and get started with a run of La-Mulana 2. So you play as Lumisa, the daughter of La-Mulana 1's protagonist, Lamesa, and that's pretty much all that you need to know. You're basically Indiana Jones, except cooler. There's a lot that the game is about to tell us, and we're not going to read even a little bit of it. Basically, in La-Mulana 1, our dad kind of ruined the ruins that he was exploring. It's real bad. The people here are not super fond of him as a result, but there are monsters coming out of this secondary set of ruins, and they were kind of hoping maybe he could ruin those ruins as well, but we came instead. There we go. Okay, and we got our first animation skip. So normally you do a little Legend of Zelda-esque hold the item up and announce what you got thing. There's a 1-frame window to skip that animation. It saves like half a second each time.
I'll be honest, even though I've caught your stream a few times when you were playing and practicing this, things get done so out of order that I get very lost.
Yeah, anybody who's played this game already is going to be real surprised at the route that you end up taking in the run. Oh, hey, let's listen to the lore again. That's great. And anybody who hasn't played this yet, I strongly recommend it. Other than knowing where the bosses are and where a couple of puzzles are, one of the nice things about this run is that if you're just trying to solve the riddles that are in this game, which is a big part of this game, it doesn't really... You don't see what the riddles are, and as such, there's no real frame of reference when you start playing the game, so that the speedrun doesn't ruin too much of it. Alright, so I hope that you followed all of that lore because we've just entered the ruins of La-Mulana, which is currently infested with monsters for an unknown reason. So you don't end up clipping through walls quite the same way as with La-Mulana 1. But don't worry, we've got different ways of skipping content, and we definitely will be. So the first thing that we really need to do, I mean, casually would be going around, reading a lot of tablets. You know, solving some riddles, that would be really cool. But that's not fast, so I'm not going to do any of that. These are grill points. If you scan them with the hand scanner that I purchased right at the start, you will unlock a save point, which is real nice. It also gives you the ability to warp, which we will be making quite frequent use of in this run. So one of the things that probably stands out is that there's a lot of routing that goes into just figuring out where you're going to go to pick up gold. Gold is really important in this run. We're going to need about 1,600 in total. Alright, but for now, it's time for us to go fight our first boss. Normally we're supposed to go do a bunch of things, fight a couple of mini-bosses, break those 3 statues that you see, but I'm just going to click through the floor instead. And that is Loki, who we have freed from having poison dripped on him for a crime that his wife Sigun would have told us he didn't commit. So he's free now, that's really good. And it's time for us to fight our first of the 9 main bosses that we need to kill, Fafnir. This is kind of a tutorial boss, it's relatively easy. you actually land your hits, though. Alright, and that's our first Guardian down.
I'd like to take this time to talk a bit about our charity, Take This. Take This is a charity that has exists to inform the gaming community about mental health issues, provide education on disorders and coping techniques, and to reduce the overall stigma around mental illness. Their website, takethis.org, has stories of hope from people who are managing their mental health, as well as articles on mental health issues, especially those that affect gaming culture.
Yeah, Take This is a really, really great organization. They do a lot to help just people in the gaming community, people in a lot of different kind of nerd-adjacent sub-communities. So now, typically, casually, we'd go exploring a bunch, try and find some riddles. Oh dear. Well, that's a bummer. We just lost 15 gold. Just because I managed to kill Moonin in just the pixel-perfect spot. There's, to my knowledge, exactly one pixel where gold won't spawn when you kill him. So that's cool. Not going to ruin the run or anything like that, but... So we picked up that rune after killing Hugin and Moonin without really another thought. And what that does is anytime that we see... That was intentional. Anytime that we see that rune now, that's a seal that we can break, and we can use that to get to new places, such as where we are now, which is Anubin. So this is Mulbrook. She was a helper in La-Mulana 1, the remake of it anyway. She was known for sleeping a lot, and not much has changed. So we're coming up on the second big clip of the game. You might have noticed that changing our costume, these costumes are permanent unlocks that you can get. Originally they were expected to just be for backers, but it turns out that you can unlock them by just getting various achievements in this game. And it turns out that up until the very current patch, jumping and then equipping these costumes tended to break collision. Not what I wanted to do there. But we should be just fine. I'm getting a heal pretty soon. So we just skipped a mini-boss. So that's our dad and our grandpa, Lameza and Sean. Neat. Neat, 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 neat. we're good.
Do I have a moment?
Absolutely.
So some of our upcoming incentives. We have a bid war for Child of Light dress colors. There's the normal, which is her traditional yellow dress. There's a light dress, which is a bright blue. And there's a dark one, which is a black dress, and also Aurora will have bright white hair. Then later on in Mother 2, there's bid wars for Ness, Paula, Jeff, and Pooh. Currently, all 4 of those have $5 for the name Ness. You can name the player. Currently, that's winning with $5 as Butts, 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 Butt. And favorite food is currently Butts for $25, and favorite thing is Shala at $25.
Really expecting that last one to also be Butts.
And also you can name the pet, which has no bids at all.
So far, this has been kind of a whirlwind tour. We are now in Valhalla, and we need to kill these 2 brothers, the dudes in gold armor, to unlock the next mini-boss, which in turn unlocks the next guardian that we'll be killing. Gonna take a hit here. No! Got lucky. That's the first of many backup pots of gold. That's the first bit of software that we're going to see. That one allows me to warp to a few areas that I wouldn't have otherwise been able to warp to even after I unlock their grail tablets. There we go. Alright, we got that heal just at the perfect time because we're gonna go face... There we go. We can go face our next boss, Ritra. Yeah, Bargain Duck. You know, Bargain Duck. He has bargains. And he's a duck. It's a good shot. Alright, and that's boss number 2. So that room was filled with a thing called dissonance, which is really important for the plot. We're finding out about it right now. We're supposed to go and collect dissonance, but you know, You're supposed to leave nothing but footprints, take nothing but pictures, so I'm just going to leave it alone. Seems really dangerous anyway. Alright, so for people who've played really either... That's actually not good. We're gonna go take a quick detour first. I don't know how in the world I'm out of spears. It's pretty bad. There we go. All better. So anyway, as I was saying, most people who've played this game casually probably got the ability to get a double jump, you know, about a few hours into the game. For the purposes of this speedrun, we're just gonna glitch our way into having that ability, though. And we have a double jump. So it's worth noting that if I get my alignment even a little bit wrong as I'm doing these clips, I just die. So these are not without risk. Be kind of back more on the intended path for just a little bit.
Do I have a moment?
Absolutely.
I'd like to talk about some of the things that Take This does to improve, to meet their mission in assisting with mental health. Take This has commissioned white papers from clinicians on effective treatments for mental illness. Their most recent one is called Crunch Hurts, and it addresses the harmful impact of overwork in the tech and video game industries. They also travel to different conventions and set up AFK rooms and panels. Their AFK rooms are professionally staffed safe spaces for anyone who needs a place to regain their calm. And their panels are seek to reach out to the gaming community about mental health issues and provide information on treatment and as well as how to be a better ally to someone who has a mental health issue.
Alright, so now, we just read that one tablet that should be the only one you see read in the entire one. that one was necessary to tell us that we need to come over here and talk to these dwarf brothers. So this is a minor bug in this particular version of the game. This is the GOG 1.0 version, and this is what you have to do in order to get the dwarves to talk to you. There are two dwarf brothers. For whatever reason, Brocker gets stuck, and there we go. We finally got Atri to talk to us. Atri is going to unlock a different treasure that I'm going to be picking up pretty shortly. So the important thing that we need is this foldable boat. It's amazing. It's great. And we got the animation skip picking it up too, which is real nice. The other thing that we recently picked up is a snapshots app for our tablet phone thing. And what that allows us to do is take pictures of any of these ancient texts, which gives us mantras. Mantras are good. So there's a hint that you can pick up that tells you that if you go to the far end of the cavern, you will die. So I'm not going to go to the far end of the cavern and die. Right, and now it's time for us to go purchase the most important item in the entire game. That's right. You know it. You love it. It's a firearm. We're going to go ahead and take a safety save here. We want to use exactly 3 bullets in this upcoming fight. Yeah, like that. Rude. Go, and now it is time for us to go and kind of get back sort of on track for what we're supposed to be doing. First thing first, we're going to go talk to Frey. Frey is going to ask us, hey, are you powerful? And we're going to say, well, yeah. And then Frey's going to say, I literally do not care. You should go talk to my sister instead.
Is there a reason to grab the enemy guides? We have a question from chat.
No. Well, sort of no. Oh, that was good. So, the enemy guides, if you get 100% of them, that is one of the criteria for unlocking a costume. But picking up the enemy guides doesn't give you any extra damage to them or anything like that. It's all lore, and it's really good. Played casually, all of the information occasionally is useful, always is quite interesting and well written. But from a speedrun perspective, nope, could not care less. So we're in the obligatory video game ice level. It's real great. Just everybody loves the ice level. Traction is pretty much as good as you would expect. So here we're picking up our second of two seals, or our second of the first 3 seals we won. This is the first of 2 that we're about to pick up in very rapid succession. And here we time breaking this seal to right there, which lets us skip a bunch of these weight diases. Get up in that enemy's face and it makes her just kind of nope out. Go. It is time for us to head back this way. So with those additional seals, a couple of useful items have become available to us. The first is this cloak, which is great. It makes it so that when you're in lava, you die less slowly. We're gonna unlock that chest and leave it for later. Okay. Just take a quick dip in a hot spring to kind of refresh ourselves a little bit. Or, yeah, you die slowly. Lava is less scary. Given that we were just very scared of lava for a moment. Okay. Oh, also, there's not fall damage in this game. But if you fall down, it does kind of delay your movement a little bit. So this little block movement puzzle unlocks an item called the Anchor, which allows us to sink in water. That was what the second brother of those two dwarf brothers that we talked to unlocked for us. And those of you who are paying attention probably noticed I'm down to one weight left, which is just fine. So we're going to pick up an item. Just more health.
Have a moment to talk about prizes?
Absolutely.
Alright, so we have a number of prizes just for the across the entire marathon. Our grand prize is actually a Super Nintendo Classic, donated by the generous Casual Geek Dave. To enter that drawing, you have to have donated a $50 cumulative over the entire week. We also have a Sadie's D-Power gaming headset. We have a Super Nintendo style poodle skirt. We have a PS4 controller clutch, a Super Nintendo controller clutch. We have some Take This accessories, such as their Hope Shield and their Psychomancer pin.
Alright, so what I just showed off was the second type of clip that we use in this run. It involves using the running item, the Gale Fibula. Basically, it comes down to sub-pixel math is really hard, especially when you're moving at weird high speeds.
This upside down place is very reminiscent of Castlevania.
Yeah. There we go. Now we've talked to we talked to Horace, who is telling us that Ra should probably maybe be defeated because he's sort of murdering people a little, which is, you know, frowned upon in some cultures. Oh dear. Well, the good news here is that there are stairs that I can take. Very slightly less fast to do it that way. And doubly less fast if you screw up the clip a bunch of times. So that was Raw. He seems nice. But, you know, we're supposed to be defeating him, so we should probably at least tell Horace, hey, we met your friend. The lore is that he's absorbing other members of his own race to become a chimera, with the ultimate goal of fusing with a super weapon. Well, that's bad. Rip Horace, I guess. Now we're gonna go take care of some more puzzles that we were supposed to kind of notice and wonder what we're supposed to do with them. The first of which gives us an item called the Totem Pole. next, we are going to really sequence break an item. So that's the Lamp of Time. It does pretty much what you might expect something called the Lamp of Time to do. There we go. So that's called a super swim. It's real nice. And now it's time for our next big sequence break. This one is actually quite dangerous to do, so it'll be real fun. So I didn't quite explain what this Corridor of Blood thing is. There are 6 exits to the Corridor of Blood, and it turns out that a lot of these ruins are interconnected in ways that make it so that we can just travel however we want. Little timing manipulates that wyvern to jump down. It can be a real pain to get through that room otherwise. So we've sort of sidestepped it a little bit so far. This game has a lot of traps, like really a lot of traps, the sorts of things that are meant to just make you really upset. It's super fun to find them on your own. Because a hard lock is possible here, we are going to do a hard save. That's a bummer. That's our first death. But it's a quick death. It doesn't cost us that much time, so not a big deal. This is one of the more temperamental clips in the game. There we go. So since I just picked up a Crystal Skull and I'm about to pick up an Ankh Gem, those are two of the MacGuffins that really do bear some explanation. So, the Crystal Skulls are a repeat of an item that we saw in the first game. But in this case, there's 12 of them, and we have to collect all of them for reasons, which will become clear later. So, we're supposed to be getting... Slightly lost in my notes. Give me one moment. It's a problem with constantly changing routes, and this isn't even the most current one. That's right. Now I remember what I'm doing. So that text message tells me that my score routing is still perfect. Now, when we go and talk to Frey, we're going to find out that Frey's sister Freya has moved in. Which is real good, because she unlocks the fairies for us. Alright, so now we're going to go use a hot spring. You saw me do that really early on to heal. But this is a special hot spring. Whenever you use this hot spring for, I think it's 5 seconds concurrently, it makes it so that you don't use ammo, which is good for obvious reasons. Perfect.
How long does that last?
2.5 minutes. With the way that the gold routing is in this game, that means that you have to be fast. So, since I have infinite ammo cheating, I'm just gonna shoot this alien. So this is Anu. He's an alien. We're going to pick up his skull later on, interestingly. Depending on how you play this game, it is entirely possible to fight against Anu... Oh, that's not good. Anyway, it's entirely possible to fight against Anu with his skull already in your possession. Wow, we're gonna 3-cycle. That's a real bummer. Hopefully he'll be nice and just, like, drop real quick. There we go.
Can I take some time?
Absolutely. We're just going to be walking to the next boss that I'm going to murder with a gun.
I got it. So I want to talk about what the current donation goal is about. So after we hit our 3,000 goal, we've set our next goal at 10,000, which will be enough for Take This to entirely fund one of their AFK rooms, professionally staffed at a convention, entirely on our own, off the back of this donation pool. So it'd be really cool if we could hit that by the end of the week.
Alright, so remember that boat that I got like 30 minutes ago? Finally we're going to use it. This is a real great fight if you don't have the boat. The game literally just makes you dive off of that and die. It's real good. With that slow Anu fight, we might have to fall back to using the sword here, but hopefully we get to just do the quick kill instead.
How can you tell if the buff from the hot spring is still on you?
So I have these little sparklies that follow my character around. When they go away, so does my infinite ammo cheat. That was close. That could have been bad. It would have been real funny. That's Kujata. Normally, he's considered like one of the first serious difficulty ramps in this game, and if you don't have a gun with infinite ammo, it turns out he is quite tough. Right, so we did run out of the infinite ammo cheat there. Which is not a problem. We've got one bullet left, and as long as we have one bullet, everything is fine. We do not yet have that, so I'm going to be able to pick up the shield. Not a big deal. I am going to pick up, however, some safety health that is not part of the run normally. Go and pick up the mantra application, which I was supposed to pick up earlier. There. Yeah, all you need is one bullet. If you run out of bullets, then you're in big trouble. But so long as you have one, you're good. So earlier I went as far as getting the save point. Now I'm going to finish what I was working on there.
Does the mantra app output things that make more sense than the mantras in Faxana do? I don't know, that last one just had like a whole bunch of binary scrolling by really fast, so
Well, yeah, of course it had binary scrolling by really fast. It was a program. What are programs made of if not binary? So those blue laser beams do hurt. It was poor timing on my part. Go, and now we go up here.
I'm amused that you can scan it before it comes out of the ground.
Yeah, it's real good. This is Ratatoster again. He's becoming kind of a constant companion of ours. So I'm gonna save here, because this is a common run killer, and we just lost a bunch of progress if I die. That's bad. Okay. Good news! That cost us like a minute instead of like 5. So you're not supposed to go for this particular... There we go. Easy, free. You should never miss that. So you're not supposed to go for this until after you get an item that makes it so that you don't slip on ice. But that kind of stinks for routing, so... Once again, we're just kind of going around, stealing gold, pilfering a bunch of MacGuffins that we're going to need for later on in the run. I think that I am out of Earth Spears, which is kind of a bummer. Yeah. So this is a newer clip that I am not good at. Got there.
Is this boss what you wanted the Earth Spheres for?
So there was a puzzle in the previous room that gives me an extra health orb. And in the name of safety, the fastest health orb for me to get that's an alternate to that, I think, is the one that I'm going to go pick up later. Not now. There we go. It's now time for us to go and continue on our quick whirlwind tour, pick up everything quest. So that's not how you're supposed to solve that puzzle, but it's how you solve it.
That seems to be the running theme tonight.
A little bit. In this game, at least. Okay, it is now time to go and kill Meta Knight. Fun fact, in my notes I still have written down that I want to do the Meta Knight skip. Stop that. I don't like what's going on, and I would prefer that maybe... Much better. Anyway, it turns out that the gold that you get from this fight is just too good to ignore anymore. Go, I think. Yes, perfect. Because that means that I can work here with minimal load time, and I finally get some shoes that let me walk on ice. There we go. Now it is time to go ahead and drop a save. Because we are going to go and get some infinite ammo again. It's now time to go and finally put an end to Raw. He's already murdered 2 people. Hopefully we didn't give him enough time to murder anybody else, because that would be real sad. This is going to be a real fun fight. So there's a puzzle here. Oh dear. I didn't think that I got that. Alright. So, because of our money route, we do have to do a hard load. I do hope that somebody's keeping track of how many deaths are in this run. That's going to be a very important number to me.
Oh, I have to admit that I haven't.
I'm sure chat has been, though, right? Chat wouldn't let me down. I'm gonna be real honest, this is...
Chat comes through. 3 so far. That sounds right to me. And we have a raid from Randomania with 70 people.
Yo. Welcome everybody from Randomania. This is not a randomizer, but we can pretend.
To everyone coming in, this is Speedrun Ragnarok. We are raising money for Take This. We'll be running all the way through the 13th. Take This is a mental health charity that focuses on education and information about mental health issues. They provide education on different disorders and coping techniques and help reduce the overall stigma around mental illness. They reach out to gaming companies to help them promote healthier and more productive work environments, ensure they have good methods in place for helping employees who suffer from mental illness. And they also establish presence at conventions such as PAX or MagFest or TwitchCon, and set up AFK rooms, which are professionally staffed safe spaces available for anyone who needs a quiet place to regain their calm.
Alright, take 2. This time, hopefully, if I manage to kill things, I'll hear the audio feedback that I had done so. Raw is one of those bosses that is really quite simple once you understand the fight. But that attack is just instant death, and it turns out instant death kills you. So I've mentioned it before, but we're running on 1.0, and whenever the game just sits there for a moment, it's always really, really harrowing. 1.0 is known for having all manner of just really fun soft locks, real interesting, great stuff. Alright, so we've killed Raw. which is one guardian. We are now going to go and kill Jormungandr, which is another one. By now, it's likely that people have kind of picked up on the making sure that we are routing these infinite ammo springs appropriately aspect of the run. Also, I don't have the correct item equipped right now, which is not good. There we go. And that was Jormungandr. Usually the second major difficulty spike for most people.
That is not how I remembered Jormungandr from Norse mythology.
No, the snake is the motorcycle. Well, was the motorcycle. Now, mostly a pile of rubble. Also, fun fact, that enemy is designed to mimic a statue that was found in... It's called the Olmec astronaut, I think. Something along those lines. Alright, so now...
Interesting.
Now I do believe that it's time to go and have a quick chat with Ratatoskr again.
Ratatoskr really is this game's mid-boss, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Yep. No, really, that's not where you need to be right now. That also isn't. There we go. So to answer the how do you get infinite ammo question, it is a hot spring. There is a riddle that talks about 3 different hot springs. One which can help you surpass the limits of the body, which that gives you health beyond your maximum health. One which allows you to endure stabbing pain, which lets you go in... Sorry, I had to wait for an audio cue there. That allows you to go in lava or in cold water without suffering any damage. Okay. And the final one is the power to ease that which leaves the hand, which is a really obtuse way of saying it gives you infinite ammo. Hopefully I'm going to get this skip on the first try. This is a really fun one. Anybody who's played this game before is probably going to really enjoy watching how I get the cog of time. It's a relatively precise double jump, and you only get one shot at it before you have to reset the room. And chant 3 more times in a row. Or 4 more times in a row, excuse me. Okay. The way that the game lets me know that it worked is... There we go. Okay. You know what? I understand. I'm not gonna get upset at the game. It was mad that I skipped something. That's fair. You can't blame it for that. Alrighty. It's now time to... kill another mid-boss. So this is what the Lamp of Time does. As you can see, it's real good.
I believe that is what they call busted.
So I want to be down in this room that I'm in right now, but I need to enter it via a clip to get a free 100 gold. And it really is easier if I clear out all of the enemies in the room. Go. Bummer. Also a bummer. We are now going to go and purchase a harp, you know, because music's nice. And I'm missing some money, which is kind of a bummer. I don't remember where I could have forgotten it. I know exactly where it is. I know where I forgot it. This is no biggie. In fact, the best part about this particular money pickup is that it didn't lose me any time to forget it up until now. Go. And now, we're going to go talk to Orpheus, who's a really good musician. We were supposed to find out from some stuff that we didn't read that he, at one point, got Charon to ferry him across hell just by playing a song. Turns out we just purchased a counterfeit copy of his harp, so that's neat. missing one of these cycles is not the fastest thing in the world. But we were just told that there's a shop that's run by a pig where we can purchase the song that he used to play for his late wife. Which is real sweet. And actually, let's go ahead and get rid of Timmy. So now that we've done all of this, it's time for us to take a quick trip, just southward. We're going south for the summer. It's real nice. We're going to hell. You know it's hell. Oh, that was good. Because when we enchant, we are clearly saying Lucifer. So this spot's real cheerful. It's real nice. Everyone's happy and friendly. You can pick up little trinkets, little souvenirs. And we managed to just miss the boat. This door is timed, so we actually want it to be at the real close to the 0 seconds mark in our in-game timer. So chat, how are you liking things so far? Are you having a great week? No, it turns out hell's a really nice vacation spot. Good for suntanning. So just in case anybody was wondering why I hadn't gone to Takamagahara. This is bad. We're just going to go heal for now. We are close enough to a bad spot that I don't want to push my luck. So that's not how you're supposed to get in there. There's a way in if you're playing the game normally. I'm just not very good at playing video games normally, it turns out. So we are now going to go and we're going to hop our happy way back to hell. Currently, our goal is to make our way through hell with exactly 401 gold, ultimately. C4 blow up. There we go. Delightful. there's a lot that goes on in this segment. We have to solve those riddles that you just saw Anubis mention. We have just a little bit too much gold. That is a bummer. Bummer, but a bummer that is fixable with minimal time loss. Hop back here so I can dump some of my gold. Like I mentioned, I want to be at exactly 401, which means I want to pick up 6. See talk in chat about how obtuse everything is in this game, and that's definitely true. All of the La-Mulana games have that that reputation. These are definitely games that are made for a very specific type of audience. This is an extremely uncomfortable segment now. I would love to encourage the game to drop enough experience for me to get a full heal. That's a bummer. That's literally the worst thing that could have happened. So we now need to go and just hope for a 1 gold drop around here somewhere. Honestly, wouldn't mind a health drop. Unfortunate. There we go. That's the number of gold that I was hoping to have here. There we go. Now everything's looking up. So there's a riddle in this area. This guy, Charon, really wants you to have exactly 1 gold. If you have no gold, he will not take you across the river. If you have any more than 1 gold, he tells you that he has no business with the rich. And he suggests that instead of him taking you across the river, maybe instead you consider drowning yourself on account of the wealth. So that was Eurydice. And that was Garba. It's real great whenever somebody... That's unfortunate. Alright. Not a big deal, you just need to leave now. And the quickest way to leave is through this door at 0, 0, so we'll do that. But yeah, it's not super obvious if you aren't paying attention, since the run already basically knows where all of the instant death traps are, but that was an instant death trap, and it's real good. In fact, before I do anything else, let's... Long way. Oh yeah, the game gives you ways to go broke real quick. So this is going to be the first of a few fairy manipulations that I'm going to be doing. So we're going to drop a save and then quit and hop back in, which resets the fairy state. Yeah, so in La-Mulana 1, fairies were completely random. In this game, they fixed that. Fairies are no longer completely random. They are on a set pattern, which means that the speedrun no longer has to pray for perfect luck. And once again, I want to get a secret fairy, so we have to manipulate one.
Question in chat, is there a no firearms category?
There is not a no firearms category. As it happens, though, banning firearms just means that you end up using the attack fairy. So it ends up kind of turning out that no firearms doesn't do as much good as someone might think. That's not good. That's a bummer. I believe that's 4.
The last one was the Death on Raw?
Yes.
Okay. That is in fact 4 then.
There we go. That's how the fight's supposed to go. So, unfortunately, that death did reset my fairy state, which means I'm going to have to grind out the fairy here that I had otherwise already manipulated. It's a real minor time loss, but it just so happens that the frost area is the fastest manipulation because the fairy spawn point is right next to a screen transition. Alright, now it's time for what I think is... Actually, is it time for... Hey, it is time for a funeral. First, it's time for a funeral, then it's time for what I think is one of the boss fights that, when it goes well, it upsets just everyone. So there's a new, faster way to do this, but because this is a marathon, we're going to do a Sky Moonwalk. It's kind of sad. You can't do that anymore in the real run because there's a new time save here that just skips this cutscene entirely. And also for the sake of the marathon, shoutouts to Sad Mulbrook. Alright, so this boss is perfectly manipulatable. So if it looks like I screw up, it's because I screwed up. Just putting that one out there. There we go. So, funny story, I actually am going to have to come back here because I did this in the wrong order.
Thank you for the raid, Sin Stream. 5-person raid. It's very nice to have. For the new people showing up, this is Speedrun Ragnarok. We are running all week, 24/7 until October 13th, and we are raising money for the charity Take This. Take This is a mental health charity. Focuses on informing the gaming community about mental health issues, providing education on disorders and coping techniques, and fights to reduce the overall stigma around mental illness. They exist to let people know that it's okay to not be okay. No one is alone in their struggles with mental health, and there's always hope for improvement.
That's much better. Now we can go back to Frost and actually pick up... it turns out that we're about to go swimming in sacred wine, which we are then later going to give someone else to drink. It seems kind of like a jerky thing to do, but here we are. And now it's time for what I think is one of the more interesting and fun spots of this run. Anybody who's played this game casually probably knows what's coming up next. This is a bummer. Every one of these is an RNG call, whether the Nemean Lion lands or, you know, keeps on wasting my time forever. And that's the biggest reason that it was a bummer. This will be fun. We're gonna see if we can make it to the end of this. So there's a hard reset point if not. We got there. Just barely. Yeah, cool. It is now time to go to space. Actually, yeah, totally fine to save there. bummer. This is one of those clips that sometimes it works on the first try, and sometimes that's not what happens. Okay. And I don't have the necessary thing to use it anyway. So, bummer. But that's what we're looking for next time. Oh, that's bad. Let's go ahead and take a death. Yeah, let's take a death. This is actually quite bad. Let's hop here, get some health, and then we'll go and finish getting infinite gun. And then we'll go to space. It'll be real good. So one thing that I think probably hasn't been adequately explained for people who are just tuning in, there's a lot in these ruins that the ruins themselves consider sacred. And if you attack something that's sacred, an artifact called the Eye of Divine Judgment is going to make you wish that you had not done that.
That is your 6th death, if I'm not wrong. Taking the intentional death a little bit ago, and then that one.
That sounds correct, and yeah, I'm definitely counting intentional deaths as far as that goes. So that was Anzu. Emphasis on the past tense. Now it's time to do that clip again. We can go ahead and select these. So we're in space, obviously. There's a lot of really great ways to die while you're trying to get to space that The run sadly just doesn't show off. This is bad. And it bumps me back up anyway. This is a real section. So we've been collecting these crystal skulls for a little bit. That is the Master Crystal Skull. Throughout the game, there's a bunch of hints regarding the backstory of this that we've kind of ignored. These Nibiru came to Earth after the Mother, who is the source of all life on Earth, created progressive sets of children with the sole desire to get back into space where she came from. And the story is that every time that one of these new species that she created failed to be able to get her back into space, she killed them and created a new race. Which is, you know, that seems like a healthy parent-child relationship to me. Anyway, the second children, who were the giants, managed to contact some aliens to try and enlist their help. They came to conquer instead, because they were friendly. I just realized that I also lack another very important thing for this section, so we're going to be making one more trip into space, which is good, because this is a fantastic background song. This is how it goes with new games, though. The route changes and you start forgetting what's part of the new route and what's part of the old route. I specifically needed to have an item that lets my Mjolnir target individual things. So we'll be doing that right now. Not a huge deal. No, it's not over too. Ooh. Yeah, that's definitely not incorrect. Space physics are not great in this game. Well, I'm going to go get the next big MacGuffin. So yeah, the Anunnaki invaded Earth and tried to subjugate everybody, and then died because it turns out Mother wasn't very happy about the whole killing her creations thing. That's her job. She's the one who kills her creations. But one of the lasting effects of really this entire, you know, create new children, kill children when they fail to do what I want them to do thing. One of the lasting effects of all of this is that there is a great deal of what the game calls dissonance. Basically, oh boy, this is going to be a fun fight. I might die here. It'll be real fun. So there's flammable gas in this room. And there's an item that I'm supposed to be picking up in the normal course of the game that gets rid of that flammable gas, but I don't. There we go. Now we can finally go into space like the space gods intended. It's real great. You can do it. I believe in you. Sooner or later, we're going to clip into this, and it's going to make everybody very happy. Or maybe not. Maybe this is my life.
So since we've seen this before, I want to talk about some incentives.
Absolutely.
So we've got a couple upcoming incentives. In a few hours, and a few runs from now, we'll have Child of Light, and there's an incentive or a donation war over which dress to have Aurora, the protagonist, wear. We actually have no donations on any of those, so it's completely open. If you want to donate towards the normal yellow dress, the light dress, which is blue, and has her Aurora have like a kind of an orangish red hair, or the dark dress, which is a black dress and white hair on Aurora. I'll post the link in chat to if you want to look at them.
We're gonna do this the boring normal way. So there's trap number 1. There's trap number 2. What a good game. Oh dear. Yes, it does look like the timer stopped. That's a bummer.
Uh-oh.
Well, we're gonna finish this run out without a timer.
It was around 2:10.
Yeah, that sounds right.
2:15.
We'll be way
I
underestimating.
think.
We're actually going to be very ahead here. So, not going to be a problem. So now we've activated the Master Skull, who, if we talk to the Master Skull, has some instructions for us. We don't care. We're going to ignore him. We're also going to ignore this dissonance. I'm just going to leave. We're going to say something along the lines of, look, it's not healthy to be as angry as you are right now with all that dissonance. So we're going to give you some space, let you work out your stuff. Now it's time for us to start cleaning up. First thing first, we've got the rest of that chamber, or Hall of Malice, excuse me. I actually almost said Dimensional Corridor, which is slightly different. Alright, so there's 3 branches that we have to go down here in the Hall of Malice. We've gone down 2.
Guns are OP.
Yeah, guns are real good in this game.
Like you have infinite ammo in particular.
Yeah, infinite ammo is real good in this game. It is now time for us to finally make our way all the way through hell. So, for anybody who's already played through this casually, this is a very different route than you are meant to do. Actually get it. Yep. There is timing that can work there, and you can skip this cutscene. But unfortunately, I didn't get that. Vanivan, the timer... basically, due to my tech setup, the timer sometimes does not behave, because I stream from Linux, which, among other things, involves running live split through Wine. Which works. It works well until the timer stops working.
Just the fact that there isn't an excellent replacement for live split says something. That
Yeah.
you're like choosing to run live split through wine.
Yeah, it is what it is. So that's Hresvalgr. He is a tremendous pain to fight, normally. Not too worried about my health currently. A couple screens I'm going to be picking up a pair. Volume warning coming up. I'm going to be using a flame weapon in an area. That's what I'm gonna do. Anyway, I'm going to be using a flame area or a flame weapon in an area with flammable gas, which the way that this game is programmed ends up making it very, very low. Push that. So that's one of the puzzles in this game that I think a lot of people didn't much care for. Alright, volume 1 now. Let me use the flame weapon again.
Is that the end of our volume warnings?
Yeah, volume warning is all done now. Now it's time for us to just go and pick up some more ammunition for a gun. So this is the last of the Guardians that we need to fight. She's kind of mad.
It conspicuously said the journey is nearing its end.
It is. Almost there. So, the lore of this game that we would have found out through picking up, or through reading tablets and talking to people. The lore of this game is that La-Mulana, the ruins that we are currently in, is a clone of the mother that the mother made. In fact, you can see the spirit of what the game calls the ninth child being created in the final boss fight of La-Mulana 1, which is pretty cool. And it turns out that this clone of the mother didn't share the mother's desire to go back to space, but it did share the mother's extreme displeasure at, in this case, being murdered a little. So La-Mulana's real mad and kind of wants to kill all humans. So we're gonna maybe try and stop that. So, I'm also going to make one quick note. All of that dissonance that I've been skipping, that's necessary for me to be able to use one of the mantra combinations that is required to finish the game. If you don't use it, you die. So, since I don't like being slow, and I also don't like dying, I'm going to pick up a special item that it's not expected to be in your inventory for you to be able to finish the game. That will revive me at 32 hit points. If I die. But it only works once, so that's cool. But we are going to pick up a different type of sacred alcohol called Soma, and we're going to lean on that and a fairy to hopefully get us through the last fight of the game. Alright, so there's not too terribly much left in this game. Now we're going to go say hello to Heimdall. Coincidentally, our father and grandfather got abducted a little bit ago. We We could have known that if we ever read any of the lore that this game gives us. But yeah, so we're gonna go rescue them, I guess. Crunch. Oh, wrong. I hope that's not a soft lock. Huh. Well, that's a new glitch that I've never encountered before. That's neat.
What happened during it?
So I used the wrong item, which froze time, which apparently prevented the actors that the game is controlling from walking up to me. I'm very happy to be able to say that I did not soft lock the game right at the very end. So that's a plus. No, it's fine. They were just yelling. They were over on the other side of the room. So this is Spiral Hell. It's nice. This game is actually a really, really nifty homage to the first La-Mulana. There was an area called the Hell Temple, which had the same layout as this. So anybody who was a really big fan of the first, shout out to Punch Chickens. But yeah, really big fans of the first would have noticed that, and I'm sure I'm not the only person who got a really big kick out of it. Rude. It is time for us to go beat the game. Let's do it. You and me, chat. And that skeleton. Should be able to tank one more hit. We're good. So we just murdered a baby. Seems like a good time to leave.
Even in the escape, clipping through wall.
Well, yeah, it's faster. And time. This is where the timer would have stopped if it was actually running. Which, this felt like a probably high 230 overall. There was plenty of problems with this run. But we made it through. I'm not sure where we are with relationship to the schedule.
We're about 30 minutes ahead.
Okay. Well, that's not a problem.
Actually, more closer to 15 minutes, actually. It's not as bad.
Okay, closer to 15 minutes. In that case, we'll let these credits play out while everybody else is getting ready, and then we'll be able to swap over. If it's 30 minutes ahead, I could have pulled out a run that's super rusty or something, but yeah. Yeah, 15 minutes isn't so bad.
Well, next up we have, we're going to have Civilization Revolution by Vonnie Vaughn.
Yeah, that's the Vonnie run. That's a really neat run. That's worth sticking around for.
After that, we have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and Axe Battler, Legend of Golden Axe, both run by J question mark. And then after that, we have Child of Light by Keishura at about 3:45 in the morning. There's an incentive for Child of Light to choose Aurora's dress color. There are currently no donations for that at all, so you know, you could choose the dress color just with even a very small donation.
I feel so bad for everybody in the US. Nobody's going to sleep tonight. These are all just awesome runs coming up.
I'd also like to take a moment more to talk about Take This. Some other ways you can support if you're not looking to donate directly. We've partnered with Teesprings to offer Speedrun Ragnarok t-shirts, where 100% of the proceeds of those t-shirts go directly to Take This. And also, all channel income via bits and subscription are also donated to Take This. So if you have like a Twitch Prime subscription, you can throw that our way, and it will also support the charity.
Well, it's not as bad as I was expecting the playtime to be. Not a good run, but not the worst.
Does that count deaths and so forth?
It doesn't count anywhere that I had to hard load. So
Got it.
There's probably a minute or two extra on top of that. And there are some loads that don't count either. So all in all, you know, it's relatively close, but we still rank by real time instead of in-game for that reason.
Question in chat, are VODs being uploaded on YouTube anywhere?
That's a really good question. I think that Scala was working on getting VODs up. But we're keeping highlights from the stream definitely on the channel, and I think that they might be mirrored on YouTube, although I'm not 100% sure there.